One thing is for certain, in your quest to get leaner, stronger, fitter, thinner, there is nothing you can do to change your body type. It's almost the same as me with a bigger nose saying, if I do this exercise every day, my nose might become smaller. Sadly, that's impossible. If you have a celebrity or a sports person or an influencer that you have in mind that you're trying to train your body to look like, it is not going to work. You're always going to set yourself up for failure if they are not within your body type. The only thing you can change about your body is the size, and then that is still within a certain range depending on your body type. There are limitations. So if you are someone who's an endomorph, so you carry your weight more on the lower section of your body, around your hips, your bum, your thighs, more like a Beyonce, a Scarlett Johansson, a Kim Kardashian, there is literally no point in you trying to have the physique of Taylor Swift or, going old school here, Madonna. You have to stay within your body type in order for you to meet those expectations, meet those goals, and not constantly feel disappointed that you haven't got there. Similarly, if you are an ectomorph, so you have more of a Taylor Swift sort of body type, or you're a mesomorph, so that's someone who puts on muscle quite easily, but you have a flat bum and you've always had a flat bum, there is no point trying to aim to be like a Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner with the huge butts, and I'm not entirely sure that they are completely natural. Who knows? But there is no point trying to do that because you're just going to set yourself up for disappointment. I've always wanted bigger boobs. That's not my body type. And there is no amount of, I'm not sure if you did this when you were young, but this exercise, which apparently was supposed to help make your boobs bigger, I must improve my bust. Anyone else know that? Say in the comments if you do, if that's just me randomly coming out. It might be something that happens in my area, in my part of the world. It probably didn't happen in yours. But all of this made no difference. I am not going to have big boobs ever. It's something I have to accept. So there's no point in me striving to have this curvaceous body because that's just not me. I have to look at people who are within my body type. So if you want the bigger booty, by all means, carry on growing those glutes more because it is so good for you in terms of back problems, in terms of aches and pains in other parts of your body. Continue trying to grow your glutes and you will perhaps make your bum more perkier. You might not get the Kim Kardashian bum or some of these influencers who claim that they did these exercises and their bums got bigger. They just naturally hold muscle in that area more than possibly you do. So don't listen to them. Just go on your own path, make the gains that you can, but don't feel disheartened if you don't have the bum that you want at the end. The biggest thing that is making us so unhappy with our body types is this need to warp our bodies into somebody else's. Find a celebrity or an influencer that is within your body range and try and aim towards having those goals. Sorry, I had to stop for a minute because my dog wanted to say hello. She keeps pestering me, don't you, for cuddles. So let's get on to body types and what body type you might be. So we've already covered endomorphs. If you carry weight down around your hips, around your bum, if you've got narrow shoulders, then you have got hips, then it's most likely that you're an endomorph. So you're the Scarlett Johansson, the Beyonce, the Chris Pratt, if you're a man of this world. So what you want to be doing if you're that sort of body type is with your food, you want to be having at least 40% protein. So by protein, I mean eggs, meats, seeds, nuts, fish, tofu, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt. You want to be having 40% at least of that in your diet each day. Then another 30% is going to be carbs. But if you're an endomorph, you don't tolerate carbs as well as other body types. So if it was coming to carbs for me as an endomorph, I would try and have more complex carbs, which is mostly made up of vegetables. So you don't want simple carbs, which is your white bread, starchy food like white bread, cereals, breaded meats like, I don't know, chicken nuggets or that sort of thing. You want to avoid those sorts of foods and focus more on having your vegetables and brown rice, brown pasta. 30% carbs, remember. Now your final 25 to 30% is going to be fats. So good fats, avocados, fish. Fish kind of goes into those two categories of protein and fats. Nuts and seeds, similar, that they go with fats and proteins. So all those good fats, you want to have it around 25 to 30% in your diet. When it comes to exercise, lots of walking, lots of jogging, low level zone sort of 2 cardio if that's possible for you. And then try with weights to do it 3 times a week, but try to do lower weights, higher reps. So you still want to get to that point where you feel like you can barely do another rep, but the difference is that you're going to be doing much more higher reps. So say you normally do, I don't know, 6 kilograms of the bicep curl. Try doing 4, but doing lots more reps. So instead of going for 12 reps, you're going to try and aim for about 18, 20. It's all a bit of trial and error. This is what I found has worked with some people who are endomorphs. Give it a go. So this 40% of fats, proteins, carbs, those are your macros. You might have heard the word macros kind of thrown around before. Those are your macros that you want to try and meet, and try and do it every day. You can kind of fiddle around with that and see how it goes. So mesomorphs are people who gain muscle easily. I am an ectomorph and I really struggle to gain muscle. So I'm a personal trainer. I've also always exercised. I used to be a bit of a cardio junkie. I've tried to remove myself from that in the last sort of 3 years. But even with that, even with doing more weights over the last 3 years, it has taken me the last 18 months of really pushing it with the weights to try to get this kind of muscle that I have now. So as this might be for you as a mesomorph possibly, or an endomorph, that you get frustrated that you're having to put loads of effort in to lose the fat. As an ectomorph, annoyingly for you possibly, I don't struggle to lose fat as much. However, I really struggle to put on muscle, and that's a frustration for me. So, but I've persisted and I've tried and I'm training all the time to put on more muscle. It's a slow, annoying journey, but same for you, that it might be a really slow, annoying journey for you to try and lose this fat. It's going to take longer than it does for other people. But if you stop, what's going to happen? If you didn't do all the training or the good eating that you're doing now, what would happen? You'd probably be a lot worse, wouldn't you? So that sounds really condescending. However, just keep going in that trajectory. Go in the direction that you're going with exercising and eating the right foods, because it will happen. It's just going to be slower. I know it's frustrating. But anyway, back to mesomorph. So people that are like Madonna, Jennifer Aniston, Gal Gadot, is that how you say her name? Gal Gadot. The one who was Wonder Woman, anyway, hot woman. So people who gain muscle really easily, who have evenly put on weight. So it's not just in one particular area, they evenly put on weight in your arms, your legs, naturally muscular. But you also have the problem that if you don't pay attention to your portions, if you don't pay attention to what food you're eating, then you also easily put on weight as well. But it's an even distribution rather than it just being around your belly and your bum and your thighs like it is with an endomorph. So for you, again, 40% at least of proteins, again, avoiding starchy food, avoiding alcohol, 40% protein at least. And then 40% complex carbohydrates, that's like mostly vegetables. And as I said, for endomorphs, your brown rice, brown pasta, but try and have it mainly vegetables if you can. Then around 20% of fats, so good fats, nuts, seeds, fish oil, avocados, olives, 20%. When it comes to exercise, a variation in terms of weights, 3 times a week. I always say to everyone to try and weight train 3 times a week, particularly if you're aging and you're over 30, 40, 50, 60. Weight training is so vital because you lose muscle mass every single year and around 8 to 10% every single decade. So always try and do weight training. Then add high intensity interval training or SIT, which is sprint interval training. I love sprint interval training, and as an instructor I also do a lot of HIIT. Lots of benefits, but try not to do it too regularly. Once, twice a week maximum, because you don't want to be increasing your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, which can also lead to weight gain. But I would recommend HIIT or SIT once or twice a week, and then the rest weight training. So finally, ectomorphs, which is what I fall under. So you're going to mostly have, not always, but thin, longer joints. You probably can metabolize food very quickly, and certainly before the age of 30 you might have had problems gaining weight. After 30, and particularly after 40, that can all change, and you might have a very good capacity for endurance sports like long distance running or anything that requires a little bit more endurance compared to weightlifting. If you are trying to gain muscle, if you're an ectomorph, then you want to do hypertrophy training, which is when you do lower reps, so around 10 to 12 reps, but much heavier weights. If you're a woman who's going through perimenopause, menopause, then I would suggest anyway that you try and lift heavier, because that's going to have lots of benefits to you in terms of gaining muscle, and muscle burns fat better than any other thing in your body. So ectomorphs should still include cardiovascular fitness in terms of improving their health, but don't go too crazy on the cardiovascular fitness. But then again, if that's your sport, if that's what you enjoy, if you're a runner, then carry on, but just make sure that you add that weight training into your week as well. And I say to everyone, 3 times a week. So roughly 50% of your diet should be complex carbs, sweet potatoes, vegetables, quinoa, food like that, and then 50% protein. Obviously your protein, you're going to have fats as well, so from avocados, fish, meats, nuts and seeds, etc. Now, all of this is a little hard to enforce if you don't have any accountability. Even sports professionals, the people that you're about to see on the Olympics, all have coaches, nutritionists. It's hard to do by yourself. And if you want that support, then look into my membership. I help women every single day with their nutrition and with their exercise. If you want a quick downloadable guide for all the things I've just discussed with you, check out the description, you'll find it in there. I'd be interested to know in the comments if you're an endomorph, an ectomorph, a mesomorph. Let me know. And then if you have any questions, I'm always happy to help people with any queries that they might have. And I will see you in the next video next week.